will record it now. And we are highly thankful to Mr. Askar for joining in today and giving us his valuable time for today's session. And Alhamdulillah, we have so many students who are here, which I know them personally, who are about to take the PSAT. Okay, so to start with, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Nikhil Jamil from Parhoin Padhao. I'm the founder of Parhoin Padhao, and I'm supported by two amazing ladies from Jeddah, Sana Junaid and Samira Mohsin. And when this lockdown was started because of Corona, we have started building up a group of students who were uh, who have the role of the teachers, and they started teaching the junior to them. And then after a few weeks, we have established a very good and very strong summer curriculum, and everything was free here. And then like currently we have more than 130 students, and we have almost 25 to 30 teachers, like the students of course, who are teaching more than 16 subjects. And because now the schools have started, we are keeping most of the classes online, week on the weekends usually. Just today, we have the general knowledge quiz of South Asian countries, and it went very well. And secondly, we have the bi-monthly teachers meeting in which we discuss how to proceed, and what we have like what we have in our agendas for the next month. And we were very proud to announce that we have done a very great community service, which we named as Stationery Drive. We collected all the stationaries, like, or not all the stationaries, like we asked the students, we asked the teachers to collect the stationaries, and then we cargo it to the street children of Karachi, Pakistan. And it was distributed in a few madrasas, and one it was Abdullah School in Lahore, and one it was Rast School in Karachi. And also we are available on the Insta, and we have the YouTube channel. And above all, we do conduct our professional talk sessions, which are held for the public, for everyone, where experts give their views to guide the audience and on the relevant topics, and follow by question and answers. So this was the introduction of us. And I would like to mention that it was all dedicated to my beloved father-in-law, Sayyid Khurshidul Hasnain Marhoom, and may Allah bless his soul, may Allah grant his maghfirah, and increase his ranks in the Jannah. And whatever I am here was just because of his love and dedication to education. So let me introduce Mr. Askar Khan, and today's topic, Introduction to SAT and the PSAT. And Mr. Askar Khan is the founder of Wisdom Outlined Academy, an academy that aims to coach high school student in mathematics. And he also have two YouTube channels, Principle Outlined and Wisdom Outlined, where he posts all the motivational talks, and his not only his motivational talks, but his
Math.
maths different topics. True. I was just writing something, so I was just confused, sorry. And so I'm just giving this virtual mic to Mr. Askar Khan to just introduce himself, and let's start this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Nikhat Jamil, for your kind introduction. My name is Askar Khan, and my background qualification academically is BE in Computer Science from Bangalore, India. And I have been teaching mathematics in various international schools over here in Jeddah for more than a decade. Currently, I am into marketing for a trading chemical company, and I also take private tutoring classes in math, in SAT, and I have also proctored SAT exams over here when they were conducted in schools. Having said that, let's begin. Shall I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, there we go. 1 minute. Okay. So welcome everybody once again, especially to the students who are available over here. Any questions that I ask, I expect and I would wish that students answer the questions. Okay? So I expect that. So let's get into this. Every time when we face a challenge or when we are about to face any challenging situations, it is natural to get nervous. But if we suppose come to know about the challenge beforehand, if we learn about the challenge beforehand, then we can prepare ourselves and take a deep breath and then face the challenge head along and overcome it. That is the process of overcoming the challenge. Get acquainted with your challenge before it comes. Make the necessary preparation and then face the challenge and you will easily overcome it. This webinar is about making you acquainted with that challenge of SAT. What is SAT? Any students who can answer me? Students who can answer me?
Standard aptitude.
Scholastic.
Anybody? Yes? Somebody came up with an answer.
Scholastic aptitude test.
Scholastic aptitude test. It was initially called as scholastic aptitude test, but later on they decided aptitude may not be the right word. It is achievement test. Okay. So now, what does SAT test you? How does the SAT measure your academic achievement? What it does is the SAT assesses your ability to apply the knowledge and skills you will need in college and in your career. So basically, your SAT exam is testing you how knowledgeable you are in the concepts that you learned in your high school and what skills you can use that are needed in the college. And not just in college, these skills are needed even in your career. So this is what SAT tests you, how you will apply your knowledge and skills during the exam. Why does the SAT test you in these skills? It is because almost every college and every university is looking for skilled thinkers. They are not looking for people who have memorized a lot. They are looking for skilled thinkers. Now, my dear students, can you tell me what makes a skilled thinker? Anybody? When do you become a skilled thinker? Yes, I'm waiting.
When you apply knowledge to situations to improve them.
When you apply your previous knowledge to situations to improve them. Excellent. Anybody else who can come up with a different phrase? What makes a person a skilled thinker? Remember, colleges and universities are looking for skilled thinkers. So it is very important that we understand what makes a skilled thinker. Anybody? Anybody else? Anybody else? Students.
When you link theory to practical.
Are you a student?
No, I'm sitting with my
Okay.
daughter.
Okay, fine. So great. When you link theory to practicals, that's another one. Well, a skilled thinker, when the process of learning new information is blended with your previously learned information, that becomes the key to becoming a skilled thinker. Whenever you learn new information, how will you blend that information with the knowledge that you already have? And then when you put it to use, you become a skilled thinker. And that is what colleges are looking for. That is what corporates are looking for, right? That how can you assimilate? How can you blend that new information? Because every day we are coming across new information. And we also have learned few things in our past. So how can we blend these two together in order to apply in the new situations? That makes us skilled thinkers. And this is what your SAT, your PSAT tests you in. So just know these things. Of course, one of the major factor which the colleges will take into account is your GPA. Anybody? Any student? What do you mean by GPA? Students.
Grade point average.
Right. So your colleges will look for grade point average coupled with your SAT scores to see whether you are ready for college or not. So of course, your SAT scores do matter along with your grade point average. Now, how is the SAT developed? So colleges care about the SAT scores because it's a strong predictor of how you will perform in college. That's the way, looking at your SAT scores, they determine that do you really have the skill needed for your college career, for your college discipline that you have taken. And not just that, your colleges will look at your GPA. They will look also at your extracurricular activities that you would have participated in your school years. They will also look at your grit, your decision-making capability, and of course, your perseverance, like how consistent and how perseverant you were throughout your high school. They have their various scales to judge you in all these things. So just know these things. College SAT is developed by College Board, an organization which takes care of all this SAT, PSAT, and advanced placement programs. You can visit this website, collegeboard.org, and you get A to Z information, anything that you need on SATs, on PSATs, or on your subject tests, anything. This webinar is just tickling you to know what SAT is, okay? It is not giving you the complete information from A to Z. Collegeboard.org is that website, is that place for you to know from A to Z. Now, how is the test organized? We are talking of SAT. So the test is organized. It has certain components. There is a time allotted and the number of questions per task. So there are 4 components for the SAT. The first is your reading component. The time allotted will be 65 minutes and you will have 52 questions on reading. The second will be the writing and language. The time allotted is 35 minutes and the number of questions will be 44. And of course, you'll have a math section for 80 minutes with 58 questions. And an optional essay, 50 minutes, where you need to spend your time on this essay. Initially in the SAT, before 2016 or so, essay was compulsory. But now it is optional. If you want to, you can register for the essay. If you don't want to, you may opt out of it. But just make a note. Some of the colleges may insist on your essay score. So if you are not sure which college you are going to apply, it's always safe to write an essay and have a score with you. Because tomorrow, if you decide to apply in a college which insists on an essay score, but if you have taken up a SAT without writing an essay, then you have to retake the SAT for the essay score to apply in that particular college. Get it? Are you with me, students?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Clear so far? Clear so far? Good, great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
essay is optional, just keep in mind, but some of the colleges insist on the essay score too. So keep that in mind. Check with the college that you will apply. And the total, of course, will be 180 minutes. That's 3 hours. You will have 2 breaks in between. And the total number of questions is 154 questions without essay. If you have an essay, it will be 155 questions. So that is how the SAT is organized. Now, there are different scales the way the SAT measures. One is your total score. Your SAT score ranges from 400 to 1600. This is your total score, how much you scored in a SAT exam, including your reading, writing, and your math. There's some other score called section score. The score ranges from 200 to 800. This section score, it gives you how much you scored in your reading and writing and how much you scored in your math. There are various other scores. This is called test scores, which goes in the scale of 10 to 40. The college board gives you the details about this score. All these scores basically will help you to analyze where you are in a specific topic, in a specific area. And you have something called sub-scores, which tests you even how good you are in applying the knowledge of history, social science, and all these. Basically, apart from the total score and the section score, the rest of the scores give you an analysis of your strengths and your weaknesses. So it's very good that when you get your report on your SAT scores, to read these scores where you stand so that you will know what are the weak areas and how you can prepare for it for the next SAT. Coming to the math test. Math has three components. One is called the heart of algebra. This tests you in concepts on linear equations, systems of linear equations, and functions. Have you all studied all this in your high school, students?
Yes.
Great. So you are aware of these things. Great. Then it also has another section called problem solving and data analysis, where you will be tested on quantitative reasoning, like your charts, graphs will be given to you, and you will be asked to interpret the graphs. You will be asked to synthesize and solve problems based on the graphs, based on the data that is present in the tables or in the charts or in the graphs. And there's one more called Passport to Advanced Math, which tests you in complex equations, a little more challenging type of problems, right? And interpreting and building functions, structure of expressions, how you will be able to change a problem into an expression and then solve it. So basically you have three. Of course, you will have some basics of trigonometry and finding volumes and areas, which will be part of all these three sections. So basically the math has three parts: heart of algebra, problem solving and data analysis, and passport to advanced math. And these are the concepts that you will be prepared. And keep in mind, all these concepts you would have studied in your high school. You are supposed to study in your high school, because your SAT tests you on how you apply the concepts that you have learned in your high school. So just make sure that you study these concepts. And the math has one calculator section where you are allowed to use a calculator. There will be around 38 questions where you can use calculator, and the time will be 55 minutes. There is another section without a calculator. Initially, this was not so, but this time in the SAT, they have added this. Someone can mute their mic, please. So you have a no calculator section, which will have 20 questions and 25 minutes. There are multiple choice, 45 questions. There will be 4 options given to you, and you're supposed to choose one correct answer. So 45 questions, multiple choice, and you'll have a student produced response, 13 questions. And of course, when you take up the SAT practice and the SAT coaching classes, the teachers will explain to you how you would be going about filling these student response grids and what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do, and all these things. This is only speaking about how the test is organized. Now, what are the key changes to the new SAT? What does it really test you in? Let's briefly go through that. It tests you in the relevant words in context. It does not test you how well you have memorized the meaning of a word. Keep this in mind. Initially, you had a vocabulary card for the SAT. Books used to come with vocabulary cards. Right? They don't test you now whether you have memorized the meaning of it or not. Instead, remember, what the SAT does is you will be tested on contextually based words and phrases that often appear in college courses and beyond. In the context, what will be the meaning of that word? So this you need to be careful about, right? You need to develop this skill. In the context, what is the meaning of the word? To just give you an example, what is the meaning of husband? Students, come on, quick. Husband. Have you heard of this word?
Yes.
Heard of this word, right? So what do you mean by husband? That's an easy word. You shouldn't be thinking so much. Husband. Come on.
A male spouse.
A male spouse. Good. That's the meaning. Generally, we know. But what SAT will do is it will test you whether you can, how well you understand the meaning of the word in a context. Now, can you tell me this? Selena asked her friend to husband the supplies so they would not run out. Now, don't think that Selena was asking her friend to marry the supplies. So what do you mean by husband over here?
A buy.
A buy?
Take care.
Take care. Okay, close. You see now, Selena asked a friend to take care of her supplies so they could not run out. Okay, so makes sense in the context. So this is what it means by the SAT testing you the relevant words in a context. Are you getting the idea now? Are you getting the idea?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Then it also tests you on command of evidence, like how you can produce an evidence of what the passage is telling. Of course, your English teachers will be explaining these things to you. Since I come from a math background, the math part is different. So just to make you aware that this is the new thing, command of evidence, how well you can point out the evidence that the author is producing in a passage. And in your English classes, you would have studied all these skills. And then we have essay analyzing a source. Of course, when you write an essay, they test you on how well you can judge what the author is presenting. Remember, in an essay, they are not going to test what's your opinion about what the author is saying. Is it right or wrong? They are going to ask you what evidence you can produce that the author is persuading his audience. So in your essay writing competition, in your essay writing classes, in your SAT, in your courses, you would have studied all these skills. That what is the clauses which the author is using to persuade, to convey his message and such things. Then you have in math, of course, it tests all those things that matter most when in college and in career. Emphasizes application of essential math skills to real world situations. Now, the math problems will be put in the form of a real world scenario. They will not be put in the problem of x plus 5 is equal to 8. So what is x? You know, those kind of things. They will be put in the real world scenario. And most of the students, in my experience of teaching students, they don't like solving word problems. So get rid of that hatred and get working on word problems, the real world scenarios, because it's going to test you on how you're going to apply your math skills in the real world situations. And of course, it will also ask you to figure out from the real world applications of charts and graphs, how you will answer certain questions. And it will test how good you are in analyzing problems of history, problems from science. Look, there is no such thing as a different science in the SAT test, but the problems will be having a science subject matter. The problems will be having, the passages will be having history matter, historical matter. So the SAT also tests you on how well you can analyze a historical passage, how well you can grasp a science concept given in the problem. So it's also testing you on that. Of course, these will be in the math section, in the reading section, in the writing section. And it tests you on US founding documents like Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, Federalist Papers. And in your history classes, you would have read all these things. So it tests you in these things also. But not, again, this does not come as a separate thing. It will be implied in the questions. So you need to be careful of these things. And one important good news for all students, in the new SAT, there's no penalty for wrong answers. Just keep that in mind. Attempt all the answers. You're not going to lose marks for the wrong ones. Okay, so never leave a question blank. These were the summary of all the 8 points. Now the test dates for the SAT, you have it on March 13th of 2021, May 8, and June 5. For further details on the dates, because they may change also, so you have to refer to the College Board. Now let's come to PSAT. Anybody who knows what is the full form of PSAT, quick? Anybody?
Pre-scholastic achievement test.
It's a preliminaries of SATs, okay? Now, PSAT is preliminary SAT. It is also called as NMSQT, National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. Now, who should take this test? Those of the students who are interested in applying for a scholarship can take this PSAT. It is also called as NMSQT. Now, when you take the PSAT, it will act like a preliminary preparation for your SAT also. But the most important point is, if you're looking to get a scholarship, then you have to take this PSAT course. And there are different exams, PSAT, which is also called as NMSQT. There is a preliminary SAT for grade 8th and 9th graders too. Check out with your school, because you can't register for these online. You have to check out with your school. The school administers the PSAT. And of course, for the 10th graders also. But PSAT 10, they will not be applied for scholarship. Only PSAT is eligible for scholarship. And taking PSAT is a great way to practice for the SAT. Now, what are the other benefits of taking PSAT? The first thing is you can apply for a scholarship. The second benefit is you can get a personalized study plan by Khan Academy. It is associated with the College Board. Then the third benefit is it helps you in knowing whether you are eligible for advanced placement programs. Your school counselors will help you in this. And then your eligibility to participate in College Board's search services. When you take up the PSAT, the College Board will help you listing your name for the colleges to find you out. So it's a very important thing. Now, how do I register? You don't register. The school will register for you. Check out with your school, because you can't register for the PSAT online. You can only register for the SATs. The test dates, October 13th and October 16th. Now, what should you know about how the test is scored? It's scored almost the same way, except that the ranges differ, the scales differ. And of course, in a PSAT, you do not have an essay. There's no option. There is no essay at all. Everything else remains the same as SAT. Of course, on a lower level than SAT. SAT will be more challenging than PSAT. Okay, these are the different scales. What is the best way to prepare? The best way to prepare is take challenging courses in your school. Then read widely and write frequently and develop problem-solving skills. That's the best way that you can prepare for the SAT. When do you start preparing? Students, when do you start preparing for the SAT? 1 week before the exam?
No.
No, you start preparing from your high school. Always remember, start practicing just 30 minutes, 45 minutes every day. And a Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, mentioned in Sahih Muslim, he said that the actions which Allah likes the most are those that are done consistently, even if they are small. So take this hadith into account, start practicing for your test, even if it is just 30 minutes every day. So eventually, what happens when you start practicing? As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, when you persist in doing a task, the task gets easy. Not that the nature of the task has changed, but your ability to do has increased. So when you persist in doing a task, your ability to do the task increases. So only practicing is not enough. Only practicing is not enough. You can't get a seat in a college if you just practice. You have to go and write the exam, isn't it? So what are the things that are required to be done on the test day? This section will be covered by Ms. Nikat Jamil. Just before I end, if you are again wondering, who is this person who's talking for 25 minutes? This is me, Askar Khan, and the founder of the Wisdom Outlined Academy. And I also run my YouTube channel called Wisdom Outlined for math videos. And for the self-help videos, I run a Principal Outlined channel. And very soon, if you are an voracious book reader, I am planning to launch a book speaking club. What is it? How will it operate? Inshallah, some other time I will share this with you. Thank you very much for listening to me. And I hope I have given you that impetus, that spark in setting on the journey to take up the SAT. Remember, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And with this, I hand over this virtual mic to Ms. Nikat Jamil. Thank you very much for listening. Over to you, Ms. Nikat.
Thank you so much, Mr. Askar. It was indeed a very informative SAT introduction and very comprehensive as well. And of course, there were so many things that we cannot cover in everything in just 20, 30 minutes, but you have give enough information regarding like the college board, and the parents are here with the students. So they will, I'm looking forward that they will just search for this, and of course for the queries they will contact you. Okay, my portion is the SAT tips and tricks, especially for the math section, because I'm a math teacher. But truly speaking, that whatever I'm discussing right now will be covering a general, like not only the maths, but also not only maths we are covering, but also the general behavior of the general behavior these days. First of all, you have mentioned that we should start preparing for the SAT from high school, but seriously, if you see the pattern of the maths, especially, it is so easy. It is so easy, and from that, even from the middle school, you will get the questions from the middle school as well, middle school maths as well. But I really like your concept of consistently, because anything which we are doing in consistency, if it is it's really worth doing it. Okay, so now today we are starting with SAT tips and tricks, especially maths, but of course it will be covering all other aspects of online learning and online thing. Now, first of all, from my side, like being a teacher, I would say that this is all about practice, practice, and practice. Not only for maths, but as Mr. Askar said, that if we are reading and we are having a habit of reading, then of course it will be very helpful to take the if we are reading, then it will be the English section will be very easy for us. And I would like to address all the parents here at this platform that you should encourage the students to practice a lot, because this is the thing that makes someone very hardworking, and with practice we can excel. Now, like even before the exam, and even because this is specific to the SAT exam, but we should follow a very good routine before exams and even now, because when you follow a very good routine, it just fixes in there, a neural path develops in your brain, and it tells you that this is the time to study, and then those studies will not be a burden on you uh, on your kid. Okay, the word I usually use, and I have also conducted a session on this, that you should now be knowing the English of mathematics. You know, when we are in lower grades, we used to do small sums, and when we proceed to the upper grades or the middle school, we see word problems. And does anyone here who likes to do word problems except Mr. Esker? So, anyone here who just like doing the word problems in mathematics? I think we all. Yes, please.
Not me.
Not you? Okay, so yes, because we are just scared of these word problems. Why? Because our maths, our brain are so tuned that we just want to see the numbers in the mathematics. And when the maths and English are combined together in SAT's exam, it appears to be very difficult, and which is not true. Because if you see in the real life scenarios, in the real practical lives, we all have to deal with the real practical applications, where there will be the English, where there will be the terms we are using it. So whenever you read a topic, even now, whatever the grade you are in, it may be some junior students are listening to us. So please remember all these words, all the terminologies of maths, all the terminologies of maths are very important, because sometimes we know what is the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, but we are unable to explain what the circumference is. So please take care of these things and try to be familiar with the terminologies. It is very, very important. And if you see the SAT exam, it is really very easy, but you have to be aware of this English of mathematics. Okay, now you have to memorize common formulas and math facts, because we are so much used to of having calculators with us in the higher school. Students start forgetting the various math facts because they're so much used to of calculators. Calculator is not a bad device, but calculator is providing you like the ease of doing the difficult questions, but do not reach out for calculators for easier questions, even in your daily mathematics in school or whatever. So do not reach out for calculators so quickly, because your brain will start the brain will stop doing the calculations quickly. So and believe me, human brain is much faster calculator than the normal calculator you have in the hand. So try this and you will find it that you have to memorize the common formulas and the math facts. Okay, this point already Mr. Esker has mentioned it, that you have to take a high quality practice test, and there is a Khan Academy. You can have the good books, the good resources where you can practice a good amount of tests for the SATs or the PSAT. Okay, and this all we are all are doing in the daily life and all our subjects, and we should learn from our mistakes. And of course, the exam day, is not the platform where you are learning from your mistakes. When you are doing the practice for the PSAT or the SAT, you have to learn from your mistakes. And my suggestion, my personal suggestion as a teacher, like I do for all of my students here as well, that you should learn from your mistakes, that you should have a paper, you should have the post notes where you write down your mistakes. You know, when we are doing the questions, what happens that we just think at that moment, okay, ye to hame yaad rahega, I will remember this forever, or this I have made the mistake, okay. But this never happens. As soon as you leave your books, as soon as you just go out of the room or out of the you know, wherever you study from your study table, and then you forget that what was your mistake was. So please note down your mistakes and make a habit of writing down the difficult areas in which you really need help. It will save your time. Be organized and write down all these bullet points on your copybook. Then retry questions you have got wrong before looking at the answers. Please try yourself, because you know, even in the normal mathematics that you do on the daily basis, or the SAT questions, what happens that when we try a question and if it comes out to be wrong, we quickly go back to the answer pages and look for the answers. Please do not do that, because you will be starting giving yourself a comfort zone that okay, answers are there, and you will try to redo your questions. So please do not do that. Retry your questions before looking at the answers, even if it is wrong. Please give your brain a chance to redo it. Okay, and again, because I have said that you have to focus studying on the areas which you are struggling the most, because, and for that one, my suggestion is that you have to note down all these topics on the paper, and you should be on your study table, and the formulas which you are looking at, the formulas which are difficult for you to memorize, please write it down on somewhere where you view most, right? And you know, when you see things most of the time, it will just register in your brain. Okay, one of the most important thing, again, for English and for maths, both of it, that you have to underline the key parts of the question. Even if you are doing your IGCs, your A levels, your high school exams, your any exam, you just have to underline the key parts. And especially in the SATs, you will be tricked with the units. You will be tricked with very small things that you cannot imagine. Ki, oh, acha, ye bhi tha. And because when you underline something, you will not overlook it. And because you may not have time to go back to the question like in the exam, on the examination day, but you have to underline the key parts of the question, and it is a very important part, very important part. Okay, and be aware of your time. Please do practice your PSAT and SAT or any exam with the time, with keeping the time thing in your head, because when you are practicing at home, when you're practicing at school, you are not keeping the track of the time. And one of the major causes कि हमारे पास स्टूडेंट्स आते हैं, वो कहते हैं कि मिस हमें सम आता था और सिर्फ टाइम की वजह से रह गया. So this is not the thing. Please do the time management at your end. Okay, and make sure you solve for the correct value of the answer. So when you have the choices, you can plug in and do the and can get the correct solution. Okay, showing your work. Again, this is a very important part, because when you have something on the written, like, okay, mental calculations, I really appreciate when the students are doing this work mentally. But when you do something on the paper, it is, when you go back and check, it is more easier to check when something is in the written form. So please show your work, and know when to put the calculator down, because as Mr. Esker has said, that there will be a calculator part and a non-calculator part. So again, please practice yourself to do small calculations. Like even if you're going to the grocery shop, you are doing somewhere, just try to calculate, and do monitor, do observe the things around you. Look at your room, look at the speedometer of the car, look at the whenever you go to the gas station, try to look for the different numbers anywhere in the grocery shop, everywhere. So you should know when to put down the calculator and start using your brain. And because the non calculator part, uh, okay, non calculator part will always be there. Okay, for the MCQs, the best strategy is that you can eliminate 3 wrong answers, and you can also plug in answers to solve the problems. And these both strategies work very well for the SATs and PSAT exam, that you should know that like which of the answers are wrong, and you can easily eliminate it. And then you have, if the question appears to be very difficult, then you can also plug in the answers to solve the problems. And of course, you can get a good tutor for the SATs and PSAT who can guide you very well. And this was the last but not the least, that you can have a good tutor to guide you very well. But with all of these things, please do remember that you don't have to degrade yourself. You don't have to demotivate yourself at any level of your studies, because when you are demotivating yourself, when you are degrading yourself, what happens that you come under the vicious circle, that because of that because of that anxiety, because of that tension, because of that demotivation, you start become very anxious, and then you're resulting in the bad grades. And because of the bad grades, you will get those anxiety and tension regarding the studies. So please do break this vicious circle. Be confident, but do not be overconfident. Do practice, do learn from your environment, read a lot, and try to inculcate the English in mathematics. This is the basic thing I would say for the math section of SATs, that you have to learn about the English of mathematics, and and try to be comfortable with these words, try to be comfortable with these terminologies of math. So this was all from my side. And I can see lots of messages coming in the chat box, but okay, I will see that. So if you have any questions, Mr. Esker, did you see the chat box? Is there
Yeah,
any?
I have replied to few.
Okay.
Okay, so in case if they have any, I think you have created a group,
Yeah.
right? So maybe they can just post their questions in the group even after the webinar for a specific period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think you delete the group after that. I don't know what's your policy, but then maybe we can answer them in the group, because now to answer all of them, maybe take a lot of time.
Okay. Okay, I'm glad that you have posted about the wisdom outline and principle outline. So, okay, Dr. Muhammad Khurshid Akhtar has said that math requires 3 P's. First P is practice, second P is patience, and third P stands for perseverance. So we should focus on these 3 P's. So it was a very good thing indeed. Math is all about that. But trust me, it is all about being comfortable with the maths and SATs and everything. Because when you start accepting the things, and the things will definitely be easier. What do you say, Mr. Esker?
Yeah, true. As I quoted Ralph Waldo Emerson, he said, if you persist in doing a task, the task gets easy. Not that the nature of the task has changed, but your ability to do has increased. So when you
It's true.
persist in doing things, definitely your ability increases. And when your ability increases, the task will start getting easier for you. So
We have to
persist
do
in
that.
doing things.
It's very true. So thank you so much, Mr. Esker,
Thank
and
you.
I hope everyone has found this session to be very beneficial. And if you have any question, please post in the WhatsApp group, because we already exceeded like it's almost 53 minutes now. So we are ending this session. Thank you so much for joining in, and hopefully we have tried to cover most of the basic aspect of SATs and PSAT. Thank you so much. We're here signing off. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you. Thank you very much.